The Vikings love all their players around the quarterback, but have no idea who's going to lead them the next 10 years. They flirted with Aaron Rodgers. They settled for Carson Wentz. They had Daniel Jones in the building. They wanted to keep Darnold, but wouldn't pay for him. So whatever's happening with J.J. McCarthy, the messaging is weird, and he's never available. So quarterbacks stabilize a franchise. So last night, the Chargers finally get Joe Alt back. What a shocker. They can run on the left side. What a shocker. The blitz packages by the Vikings didn't work. So the Vikings love their coach and their defensive coordinator and their left tackle and their weapons. And the Vikings love everything around the quarterback. But the franchise it's not stabilized because they don't know what's going on with J.J. McCarthy. The Chargers are the opposite. They've got the most important part of this league. Quarterback 1, coach 2. And they're both going to be there for as long as they want to. Foreseeable future, decade if they want. Harbaugh may retire 8, 9. Jim's got great energy. They just can't keep anybody healthy for any extended period. So as I watched last night, 1,000 out of 1,000 times, I would take the Chargers situation. They're making Justin Herbert throw more than any quarterback in the league because that's what they have right now. And slowly but surely, Joe Alt came back and they were good. But the Chargers know the truth in this league is that Joe Burrow got to a Super Bowl with a bad O-line. And Justin Herbert doesn't need both tackles. He won't have Slater this year. Just give him Joe Alt, and they can blow out anybody at any time. And here is Jim Harbaugh after the win.
Well, I want to focus on the Minnesota Vikings. So we don't got to listen to Harbaugh. Yeah, what Colin is saying here is that, the Vikings clearly have the better team, but they're lacking at quarterback. And the Chargers kind of have injuries and things all messed up, but they have the great quarterback. And so, which team can be more resilient here. I don't know if you have a better quarterback in this situation. You win this game. I'm not convinced of that. Carson did not play great, but he was also pressured just non-stop. It was pretty relentless. And of course, yeah, he missed some throws and he's disrupted. But that's what you're gonna get with a 32-year-old quarterback at this point. And listen, it's fascinating to me because I see a lot of the conversations right now where we're seeing Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones look great. Then they do. And you Vikings fans should know that I had been incredibly high on Sam Darnold. And I pushed before Sam Darnold ever took a snap with the Minnesota Vikings. I said Sam Darnold and the Vikings are going to be great. And they were. And now you're continuing to see Sam Darnold be great. And you're continuing to see now you're seeing Daniel Jones be great. But here's the reality of all of this, though. We've seen both those quarterbacks, Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones, not look so great when they're not protected. When they don't have a great O-line, like we see many quarterbacks not do, and so it's not clear to me that in this situation that even if you had Daniel Jones, if you had Sam Darnold, if you just had a better quarterback, that you would be reliably that you'd be able to succeed under these circumstances right now. Now, to be fair, Daniel Jones is still being pressured with the Indianapolis Colts. But him and Shane Steichen are so connected, like I always talk about. He has a solution to the problem of the pressure again and again and again and again and again. And throughout the course of the season, Sam Darnold did too. But then at the end of the season, none of those answers were to be found. So a lot of that still does depend on coaching. And it's like, could have Kevin O'Connell done a bit of a better job in this situation? It's hard to say. It's hard to say because things feel pretty messy right now. They really do. Really messy. But I mean, you ran the ball 11 times. And I'm sorry, I don't agree, even though you're down a little bit, it's not actually written anywhere that if you're down, that you can't run the ball. That's not written anywhere. And actually, there's the real argument, and Kurt Warner has talked about this. I've been talking a lot about Kurt. Even when you're down, you shouldn't really change the way you play. You still have to just do the right plays. Still have to have the right game plan. And you know, I don't know. Your quarterback is getting walloped nonstop, and yet you keep just having him drop back and putting him on an island. You're not giving him these quick routes and getting the ball out of his hands. I mean, he's getting sacked 5. I mean, he was just getting crushed. He was in such pain too. I mean, like, that's the thing too. You could see Carson is screaming in agony. He's literally in pain. And that's what I kind of take issue when everyone just kind of wants to pile on Wentz, because it's like, dude, this guy is getting housed. He's getting crushed. He's injured. He's banged up. And like, where's the support in that regard? And he's getting the ball to Justin Jefferson, 11 targets, 7 catches, 74 yards. Jordan Addison, 3 for 4. Like, you know, like he's doing what he can. And again, he was not perfect. Like, I am not, you know, saying that, hey, Carson played really good, or hey, you know, it was all the O-line. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. It's just right now, I don't watch a game like that and just think, oh, if they had a better quarterback, they win. This game would have been completely different. Like, I don't know. You know, maybe if you had a hyper-mobile 25-year-old quarterback who could just start running and ripping off runs and can now make up a huge part of the run game, maybe that, then sure. But even Justin Herbert in this game had to run a ton. You know, he had to run a ton. And there was just too many moments when Carson Wentz just got bottled up, when you're just like, oh my God, this is a tough one right now. This is tough. So, but it is interesting. You know, you have Daniel Jones leading, technically the most successful offense in the history of the NFL. Okay. Like that's a real statistical truth right now. They're doing things that the 2018 Chiefs didn't do, and they're doing things that the undefeated Patriots didn't do, right? And that's with Daniel Jones. That's a real thing that's happening. And Sam Darnold has undeniably elevated the Seattle Seahawks, and he's been playing awesome. And now now the Vikings, who are well coached on both sides of the ball, great coaches on both sides of the ball, a great roster, some injuries, some limitations right now, undeniably. But, you know, still enough to kind of make do to a degree that if you really nailed the quarterback, you'd have a lot of success. And I would make the argument that Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold would be better in this situation right now, even with all the pressure. Because I do think there's fundamentally an evolution to their quarterback play, which I think we're especially seeing with Daniel Jones, because it's obviously the most turnaround right now. Sam Darnold has already now had some time under his belt, so it's, you know, not as surprising. But, you know, I don't know if we see a fully healthy J.J. McCarthy in this situation thrive. I really don't. Especially with all the pressure, young quarterbacks, they just notoriously break under the pressure. That's why with young quarterbacks, the name of the game is always just get after him, get after him, get after him, I mean, like, that's what all the defensive coaches do against these young quarterbacks. It's just like, nope, just an onslaught. We just want to pile on the pressure. We'll give up throws at the back. It doesn't matter. Just put the pressure on him again and again and again. And the bet is just, you're not going to be able to make the throw. You're not going to make the right decision. You're going to be overwhelmed. You're going to be sped up. You're going to be lost. You're going to be confused. We just get after you. And we saw a chunk of that with J.J. McCarthy already this season. We saw it. So, but yeah, it's a weird situation right now with Minnesota. It is. And I think that's totally fair to admit that. I don't think that the season is just automatically lost. I think this was obviously a rough game, an ugly game, 37-10. You only felt like it was competitive in the very beginning. The Lions, that's going to be a tough game. The Ravens, especially now with Lamar Jackson back, that's going to be a tough game. The Bears will be fascinating. The Packers should be a tough game, but, you know, will also be interesting. And then you're going up against the Seahawks. Like, there's going to be a lot of energy in that game. With Sam, like, that's going to be a more intense game than Vikings fans would want to admit. But I'm telling you, I'm on this all the time. The Seattle Seahawks are going to rally behind Sam. Everyone from Seattle is going to want to beat Minnesota. Like, it's going to be It's going to be an intense environment, intense energy. The Commanders, they're really banged up right now. But by December 7th, maybe Jaden, Debo, Terry McLaurin, they're finally all playing together. The Cowboys have been a fascinating team, great offense, terrible defense. See what happens there. The Giants, the Vikings, the Lions, and the Packers. Like this is not an easy schedule ahead of them right now, by any stretch of the imagination. And some of the games that you would have really needed to come away with the wins, would have been the Falcons, would have been against this banged up Chargers team that has not been playing their best brand of football. Like you really needed to be able to come away with these wins. And unfortunately for them, they haven't. And now it's like there really aren't any easy wins in this moment of time. The easiest game you technically have is against the New York Giants. But, Lions are going to bring it. The Ravens are going to bring it. The Bears are going to bring it. The Packers are going to bring it. The Seahawks are going to bring it. The Commanders, like I said, depending on maybe Jane Daniels is shut down, I have no idea. But, if they're actually kind of healthy and playing, then they'll probably also be fighting for potentially a playoff spot. The Cowboys offense at the very least is going to bring it. So it's a tough one. It is absolutely a tough one. And unless you can enter an elevated JJ McCarthy, right? If JJ McCarthy can prove to be that dude that can overcome some of these things, some of these issues that they're facing offensively, then sure. But he does not have enough time under his belt at this point. And we see quarterbacks struggling all the time. To think that JJ McCarthy now can just enter at this point with such limited amount of actual NFL playing time, and that he can just hit the ground running. I don't, again, and this is not a value statement or a value judgment on JJ McCarthy. I could truly believe in my heart of all hearts that JJ McCarthy is going to be an elite, all-time great player. And I could also believe that this season we're not going to be able to actually see that, because there's just quarterbacks need to develop. Drake May needed to develop. Caleb Williams needed to develop. All these quarterbacks need to develop. It takes time. And at this point, with how this season is going, with how this offense has been dealing with all of the things that it's been dealing with, the O-line, etc., it's just hard for me to see how JJ just gets entered into the equation, and it's just like, all right, baby, let's go. Let's get after it. Especially with now the fact that he's been banged up. Like, you can make the argument that like Jackson Dart added a little bit of juice and whatnot to that Giants offense, and it's true. But like, again, being able to rely so much heavily on just energy and mobility and scataboot, right? Like it's a different sense right now. That's not what JJ McCarthy is going to bring. So yeah. I honestly am curious to see where the Vikings go from here and how it all unfolds, but it is tough ahead of them. It is tough ahead of them. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Minnesota Vikings? Do you think this is just a quarterback issue? That if once you insert a great quarterback, that the Vikings will be successful back to where they were last season? Or do you think this is more of a team issue, coaching issue? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.